All right, guys, I got my Punisher's Crypt team. It's working. It's solid. It's about 97% success rate so far, and it's pretty fast. So I want to show you that. So we'll get into that right now. The things we're going to go over in this video, I'll show you my team. I will show you the runes. I will explain how the dungeon works and the mechanics of it. I'll explain to you why I used each of the units on my team, and then I can give you options to replace things. First of all, I want to say this team technically is free to play because Pang was an HOH. However, don't worry if you don't have one. If you missed it, you haven't been playing yet. She is the easiest unit to replace on the team with other things, and I've already got plans for it. I won't be building those myself just because of the conditions of my account. The Fire Homunculus being the unit that most people have been using in place of that with the 3-turn slow and the dots. But I use my TOA. I use my Water Homunculus for TOA normal rush, so I don't really want to change it out. As you can see, team works pretty well. It's pretty fast. So I got a 36-second record on it, and that was a pretty clean run. Yeah, so let's go over it. Okay. So let's talk about the dungeon. The Punisher's Crypt. Okay, so the Punisher's Crypt is very speed-based. You need to be careful not to push the attack bar. So let's go over the skills. Dance of Sword. Attacks all enemies and decreases their attack bar by 30% with a 30% chance each. This attack cannot be countered, so Revenge runes don't work against it. Countering passives don't work against anything. Conviction attacks the enemy target 7 times to absorb the attack bar by 20% each. Now keep in mind, this will target either the lowest HP unit or the unit that's dark. Unless, you know, a unit's really, really low HP, and then it'll target that before the dark tank. The important things to mention, though, are the passives. The skills are there, but not super, like, oh my god, these are terrifying. The Punisher's Sword passive is usually what changes things. So after the 5th turn, Dance of Sword, which is the AoE, increases the number of attacks that it does up to 3 times according to the attack speed. The 10th turn increases Conviction's damage up to 100% according to the attack speed. And the 20th turn gives all attacks ignore enemy defense. Now, this specifically is why you want to bring slow debuff into the team. If you're speed breaking the boss, it's unable to get these crazy fast multiple attacks and high damage. Okay, now the Reverser passive is kind of what limits you in unit choice for the dungeon. So the damage received will be decreased up to 70% according to the attack speed. So again, you need speed break to deal more damage. In addition, the attack bar of all allies will be increased by up to 50% according to each of their attack speed when they are attacked. And the boss instantly gains a turn when the boss gains attack bar decreasing effect. Now, this means if you push the boss's attack bar, it instantly gets a turn. So you need to be careful about if you want to do that and when you want to do it. The attack bar of all allies being increased up to 50% according to their speed. That's why you don't want to AoE, right? Because then you're just giving everything a ton of turns. So the 2 towers do different things. The left tower is an AoE attack that has a 50% chance to 2-turn attack break you, and it also full cleanses the boss when it moves. The right tower increases the attack bar of the boss. Well, unless you, generally the boss, because most people go face. It increases the attack bar of the lowest HP ally by 50%, and then increases the attack speed. So if you target towers first, I guess it would target the tower, but for the most part, you're going to be going face. So for these reasons, generally, I would suggest not running AoEs. I would suggest running skill 1, maybe 2 of them that have slow debuff, and also avoiding AoEs. So let's go over my team. The reason I have this team built is because the Pang and the Yen both have slow debuff on skill 1, which is really nice. The Pang, with her passive, actually is able to remove the speed buff from the boss and also elongate the debuffs that you've applied to the boss. She also has slow debuff first skill and dots on second skill. Now, the Yen is a controversial choice. A lot of people are unsure if they want to use Yen if they like it because her skill 2 steals attack bar. So she does give the boss an immediate turn, but the dots that go on can be relevant and also force the boss to take a lot of damage really fast. For my team, my Dark Tank is Jolton. The reason I use the 2A Jolton is because of this passive. It does the reflect damage as we're used to for contaminated blood. However, it also inflicts a continuous damage with a 50% chance and has defense break chance. So my Jolton I use for the dot and the defense break. After that, I've got Rauk. So I'm using Rauk because I want the team up mechanic. I want extra chances for to pull the Rakshasas and slow debuff the boss. And then he also does have the chance to go ham with a defense break. You know, he is what he is. And then lastly, I'm running Verd. Now, specifically, I'm running a non-violent Verd because I don't feel like my Verd needs extra turns. He doesn't provide any debuffs on his turns. He only gives attack bar to my team, and I don't want him going like a million turns if he's not outputting any heavy utility, right? So the turn order for my team is the Jolton into the Yen. And then from there, I believe it goes my Rauk into the Pang, and then Verd last for the attack bar pull. So to note, there's a couple things that I have ruined specifically. All these units are 81 crit due to the fact that I'm using Pang leader skill. And my Jolton is on a unique build. The shield set is nice because it helps you survive the AoE attacks early on from the boss. But I'm also running a different technique here. I'm running a resistance slot 6. So one of my viewers actually suggested that I ran resistance slot 6 since conviction steals attack bar. And honestly, it's a pretty good idea. There are a lot of times where the boss uses conviction on Jolton and only steals about half the attack bar, maybe less. So it is pretty relevant. It is actually pretty relevant. So HP resist. The speed is due to the fact that I wanted to be faster than my siege Yen. Yen on rage. Ideally, I think you'd want just like a non-violent Yen, maybe a little bit slower, higher damage. The goal for your accuracy, because the resistance of the boss is only 39 in Punisher's Crypt. The mid boss is 50, but the final boss is 39. You only really need 24% accuracy. And I'm running 17 on my Yen. So I forced an accuracy set onto my Rauk to give my whole team a little bit more accuracy. I found a good usage of these ancient runes that we've been holding on to for so long. And I'm really happy that they work out. And then I got the extra fight set on my Verd. I did want to run one violent unit. I ran the Violent Pang for two reasons. One, it gives her the extra chance to strip the speed buff of the boss. And also because I use her in my Steel Fortress team and I feel she's better on Violent there. So I'm using kind of that multi-purpose. In terms of artifacts, my artifacts are kind of budget right now. They're just here for stats. I just plus 15 them for the extra like attack and HP and stuff like that. You know, I get an HP one here, but increased damage to light and then attack here. So overall, the team is pretty straightforward as is. We'll do another run here and I'll explain to you as it goes through why things work. So the Jolton into defense break is usually an insta-kill on a mob. So actually my Pang does move before my Rauk. I did manage to change the runes. I slowed down my Rauk a little bit for my other team, for my Steel Fortress team, and it changed the turnover a tiny bit, but overall it's not really a big deal. So yeah, usually the boss ends up cutting in between, and then I like Pang moving because she has the chance to slow debuff the boss afterwards if it manages to cleanse off. It's the slow debuff from Yen. In an ideal world where I'm not using my siege Yen, I think the idea would be to run a slower Jolton and then have Pang move right after to extend the defense break to 2 turns. But I don't live in that ideal world, so this is the best that I can do with the runes that I have. I found this team to be an average of about 52 seconds, and it's comfortable at that, whereas the overall success rate is about, I would say, 97% over the last 5 to 6 refills. I'll test it some more and check it out, but I think that's basically what we're getting out of it. In terms of free-to-play options for this, obviously if you don't have Yen due to missing the HOH, the suggestion I have been giving people is to run the Fire Homunculus. So the Fire Homunculus, you want to look for... Which one is it? Let's see. I believe this is the one people were using. The Speed Break, or possibly the Speed Break plus the Branding. But you use that into the dots. The continuous damage effect is really nice. So it is one of these, and then you want the continuous damage effect at the end, where you get extra damage based on continuous damage as well. This is a really good option if you don't have Pang, and it's also a nice option to push the attack bar and force the boss to eat more dots. I think outside of that, there's not too much else to go along with this team. If you're looking for safer teams, I would suggest maybe going with slower teams that use like a Colleen instead of a Fran, since you don't want the attack bar push. And maybe not using any units that steal attack bar, so you don't have to force the boss to take any extra turns and you take extra damage. I'll put up a couple more runs so you guys can just see how things go. And then maybe you'll get a better understanding of where the team's RNG falls and fits. Overall, I think one of the biggest issues is if I miss slow debuff twice in a row and sometimes get unlucky with the left tire cleanse. But overall, it's really nice. In terms of mechanics, though, I would suggest not running Revenge unless you absolutely need to for some reason. Because if you Revenge the left tower, you give attack bar to the towers, and that's not really the greatest thing. But yeah, here are the teams. I hope you enjoy it. So I've been making a bunch of videos now here for the shift update, and I'll be making a couple more for the rest of the teams that I'm building, or the Steel Fortress, Giants, and maybe some Dragons and Necro videos. If you guys like the content, please subscribe, leave a comment. I'll try to answer anything I can. Otherwise, you can catch me on my stream at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern every single day.